Okay. Let me share my screen. Sharing screen. Okay. Right. So what do you see? Okay. Let me see. Do you see the Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we are in chapter 3. Do a brief review. Um, So, chapter 1 was about observing the armies, the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjun gave reasons he doesn't want to fight. He gave 4 reasons, and then in chapter 2, he was indecisive and he accepted Krishna as his spiritual master. He surrendered to Lord Krishna, right? And then uh, in chapter 2, Uh, it was the different kinds of yoga were described. The Sankhya philosophy. Lord Krishna gave reasons like what all the reasons which Arjun was given in the first chapter, refuted them. So we are in chapter 3. So just revising chapter 2. In chapter 2, Krishna refuted all those reasons which were given by Arjun. He said on the level of compassion, because one of the reasons Arjun was saying that he has compassion for his relatives, like on the bodily platform. So that's why he gave the Sankhya philosophy, which means that soul is eternal, imperishable. So he will not be able to kill his relatives because they are the soul, right? They are the Atma. Then he discussed Karma Kanda, saying Arjun had mentioned that he will not have any enjoyment because his relatives are not there. Then he will not have any enjoyment. But then he mentioned that if he wins, then he will. If he loses the battle, he'll go to heaven because he's doing his prescribed duties. But if he wins, he will enjoy the earth. Then Krishna spoke about Buddhi Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga, where we have to work unattached to the results of the work. He said that he will get sinful reaction in the first chapter, saying that because he's killing his relatives, he'll get sinful reaction, but unattached work, Nishkam Karma Yoga, will not have any reaction. So, and then he described the features of a sthita pragya, right? Symptoms of a self-realized soul. Now we are in third chapter. So in the second chapter, uh, Krishna mentioned that give up all abominable activities and fight. So Arjun had confusion, saying you're saying Buddhi Yoga, which is intelligence yoga. And so that first section saying he's confused, like, should I fight or renounce? Then in the second section, which is from verses 3 to 9, is talk about that Nishkam Karma Yoga is better for Arjun than Jnana Yoga, and we will see why. And then in the third section, it's from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. Like if he cannot do Nishkam Karma Yoga, so at least he do Karma Kanda. And then in the fourth section, he's talking about even if he is purified, he has the knowledge that he is the soul, and he still should do Nishkam Karma Yoga to set the right example. And the fifth part, the conquering the lust, the greatest enemy, this is the part where we had not seen the last time. So far, any questions or any confusion about the context. I know Asmita Majadi, thank you for joining. You're joining for the first time. So we are doing an overview of the chapters, not going in very detail, but trying to see at a high level an overview of the chapters. So anybody has any questions or any comments before we move forward? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay. So no questions. We can move forward. Okay. All right. So Arjun's thing was like, you're telling me not to do abominable activities. So what should I do? Should I renounce, or should I fight? Right. And then so then Krishna says there are two types of people: the Jnana yogis and the Karma yogis, and they have their prescribed work, right? Unless one is on the level of Jnana, when he realizes once he's pure, like in his heart, and he realizes this the soul, then he doesn't need to do work. But unless the person is not pure in his heart, then he should do his prescribed duties, right? So we see like premature renunciation if we do, and it's also called a mithyachara. Like internally we are saying that we are renounced, that we, but we internally, well, externally we might see that they're renounced, but internally they're still focusing on they're focusing on sense objects. So in the first two statements, Arjun was asking, if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work, so why do you want me to engage in this ghastly warfare, right? Because the second chapter was about buddhi yoga. Buddhi means intelligence, right? And that yoga was talking about nishkam karma yoga, and also to a certain extent in that verse where it is bhakti yoga. So he's confused, like, tell me, like, decisively, what should I do? Should I renounce or should I fight, right? And then Krishna says there are two classes of men, and you cannot achieve freedom by just abstaining from work, by renunciation, or you cannot achieve perfection, right? And everybody has their gunas they have acquired from them, and they could be in different modes of ignorance, passion, or goodness. They have the material nature. So we are, by souls, by nature, we are active. We have to do something, right? We cannot live even without a moment without doing something, right? We see some of the sadhus who fall down, who become sannyasis, but fall down because externally they might be the saffron robe they might be putting on, but if they have not become pure from the heart, that they still are engaged internally in contemplating on the sense objects, that's where they fall down. So that's where in the 6th verse, Prabhupada Krishna mentions that if you just restraining the senses, but our mind is dwelling on the objects of senses, he's called a pretender, he's a mithyachara, right? That, okay, I'm a sannyasi, I have given up all these things, but my mind is thinking about that thing. I'm called that person is called a mithyachara or a pretender. So, but on the other hand, if there is a sincere person who is doing his work without attachment, like in Nishkam Karma, he's far superior. Instead of being a detached, like instead of being a renouncing, which is false, which if the heart is not pure and we are still trying to do, if we are trying to do our prescribed duty, but without attaching to the fruits of the results, then that Nishkam Karma yoga is far more, it's far more superior. And then say, how can we detach? We should have to do work for Vishnu or Krishna. Because if we do work for ourselves, if we attach to the fruits of the results, then we get the reaction, But if we would do the work as a sacrifice for Vishnu, it will not cause bondage, right? So that's the verse, ninth verse, that we have to do our prescribed duties for uh, for pleasing Vishnu. And in this way, then he's saying also, if you're not able to do nishkam karma, then karma kanda is also okay, because karma kanda is what we are doing. Okay, if I if somebody wants a son, but they are not getting a son, they might do a putra kamishti yagya. If they want grains, they are pleasing the Indra. They are doing a sacrifice for Indra. So for getting the getting the fruitive results, you're doing some regulations. So that is still better. So Krishna is then in talking about this ladder, the yoga ladder we discussed the last time, that some people are atheistic or animal life they're living. They don't believe in God. They have no regulations. They have unrestricted sense enjoyment. So that is the lowest rung of the yoga ladder. Then comes karma kanda, where there is regulations. And those regulations are there in the Vedas, right? The Vedas is full of those regulations, is talking about how you can get certain things. But again, that is on the level of kama. That's like we have the four pillars: dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? You do dharma so that you can earn money, artha, and so that you can kama to fulfill your desires. So it's on that level, karma kanda level, right? And then slowly person, if he's doing karma kanda, gradually then he goes on to the sakam karma yoga, where he realizes that the supreme lord is Krishna or Vishnu, and then he is offering the fruits of the work, and he understands that, but he still has that material desire. He's still attached to the fruits of the work. He's not detached from the fruits of work, but he understands that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Then Nishkam Karma Yoga, it's basically he's not attached to the fruits of the work. And continuously and for a long time, if we continue to do the Nishkam Karma Yoga, we realize that Gyan comes in, that we are not the body, but the soul. So that is the Gyan Yoga. At that time, when we are self-realized, there's no need of doing work. There is, meaning it is allowed, it is okay, but Krishna is going to say, but if people become like that and others follow them because they are the leaders, then the society will be ruined because people will stop doing the work. So the Jnana Yoga, where there is the self-realization, and then above that is Ashtanga Yoga, where people meditate on the Paramatma. They are after the Siddhis, the eight Siddhis, lighter than a feather, heavier than the heaviest. They can fly and they can get anything. Prapti, there's Laghima. There are the different 8 names. I forget the names. And then at the topmost is the Bhakti Yoga. So this is the gradual process, which is the extended yoga ladder. But there are other yoga ladders which are progressive, right? This is the progressive, where from animal life, karma kanda, to sakam karma, and people start doing the sadhana bhakti and nishkam karma yoga. Then they can get into the other. There are 3 levels of bhakti: sadhana bhakti, where you're doing the basics, the sadhana which is prescribed by your guru. Then you get to a bhava, more mature stage, and prema, which is the ultimate stage, right? But then there is an express elevator. Yes, Kumar, you have a question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I want to understand the difference between Karma Kanda and Sakam Karma.
So Karma Kanda is more towards Devi Devtas. You're doing sacrifice for the Devi Devtas. Okay, I want rain. I will do a sacrifice. I will please Indra so that I get rain. If I want intelligence, who is the guru of intelligence, I will worship Ganesha. If I want Shakti, I will worship Durga. If I want wife or husband, I worship Shiva. Like those different things which are mentioned in the Vedas, and Krishna says also there are flowery words in the Vedas that you can get different results. You still have a desire, right? A material desire. but you are not going to the Supreme Lord. You're going to the different devatas. And Sakam Karma Yoga, you have a desire, right? But you understand who is the Supreme Lord, and you're asking that. You're asking the Supreme Lord for that. And the reason, the difference is the Karma Kanda, the heart is not purified in a sense that you will get, like, you will understand, you'll slowly get to Sakam or Nishkam Karma Yoga. But when you do Sakam Karma Yoga, like if you see Dhruv Maharaj wanted a kingdom which is bigger or greater than Brahmaji, his great grandfather. So Dhruv Maharaj is a small child. I hope people know the story. If I quickly tell the story that he was insulted by his stepmother, right, because he wanted to sit on the lap of his father, but his stepmother said that if you are not born of my womb, then you cannot sit on my lap. So then he goes on the instructions of his mother to the forest to worship Vishnu. And then because he understood, because he got the instructions from Narad Muni, who is the Supreme Lord, he meditated and he used the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. His heart was purified. When he saw Lord Vishnu in front of him, he's saying, like, why am I asking this? Why was I asking for a kingdom which is like a piece of a broken glass, when your bhakti is like the crystal? So when we ask from the Supreme Lord, our hearts are purified. Whereas the demigods, and it's also there in chapter 4, the devatas, they get pleased easily and they will give it to us, but our hearts will not be purified of that material desire. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So and Dhruv Maharaj, like, his heart was purified. He didn't want that. He said, I don't want the kingdom greater than Brahma. But then Vishnu gave him the kingdom. Like, he became the king after his father, and he ruled that kingdom like the earthly kingdom. And then at the end of his life, he got the Dhruva Loka, which is greater than Brahma Loka. So God did keep that promise, but his Dhruva's heart was purified. So the express elevator is from animal life to then bhakti, and we discussed that last time also, like, if we associate with bhakti comes, it's inherent in us. Every Atma has bhakti because we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. It's just covered. So that dormant bhakti needs to be fanned by devotees, right? So if we take the association of devotees, they spark that bhakti. So then we start doing sadhana bhakti, okay, chanting our rounds, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, doing our devotional services which are prescribed. Then the 3 levels is bhava bhakti, okay, it's a very high stage where we are spontaneously attracted to Krishna, and prema is the ultimate, like, we have the realization of who we are in the spiritual world, right? So that's the express elevator. If you take the path of bhakti, it's an express elevator. And bhakti doesn't mean that we don't do the work, right? That was one of the questions last week, that, okay, do we not stop doing when we are doing bhakti? No, it's like we put Krishna in the center. If I'm serving my kids, okay, I'm serving my kids because they're children of God. So trying to see, and it's a gradual process, right? If I'm earning money so I can feed my family who are children of Krishna, so that I can donate to temples, I can donate to do charity for Krishna conscious work, or say, even if I want to build a hospital or something, I'm building a hospital because it will serve the people or serve the children of Krishna. So the mindset is you're trying to please Krishna, you're pleasing Krishna all the time. So that's what we discussed the last time, right? I'm going to skip over this. And then Krishna speaks about karma kanda, that if you're not able to nishmakam karma, you still do the karma kanda, because the work has you just giving up actions completely without your heart being purified is not right. So you still do that, right? He says that. And then we spoke about how, because the demigods, the devatas are giving us rain, they are giving us, and in the beginning of the creation, Vishnu said that you perform your sacrifices, please the devatas, and live in cooperation with the devatas. And then Krishna says that if anybody is not offering the food to the Lord and eating, then they're only eating sin. And we discussed that the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So the importance of prasadam, importance of offering food first as a bhoga to Krishna before we eat something, that is very important, so that we don't get the reaction. Otherwise, it is for sense pleasure. I like ice cream, I like bhel puri, I like this. So we just try to enjoy the food, then there will be a reaction because we are trying to enjoy for ourselves. But the thing is, if we can eat that, but first offer it, which is offerable. We cannot offer meat to Krishna. We cannot offer onion and garlic to Krishna. So slowly, we make that effort, and then we offer bhoga to Krishna with a tulsi leaf, and then we eat, we honor that prasadam. So then we will not get this sin. Then Krishna described the whole the cycle of sacrifice, that the supreme Lord, from his breathing comes the Vedas. Vedas described what each person's actions should be, right? A Brahman should do what, a Kshatriya should be protecting his people. So it's all the prescribed duties are described in the Vedas. And from the prescribed action, sacrifice, the yagyas come. Yagya is sacrificing something for the pleasure of the Lord. It's just not like a fire yagna. Like in the age of Kali Yuga, what is the yagya we should perform is Sankirtan yagya. Like we should perform chanting of the holy names. So from sacrifice, from the yagya comes the clouds, and from the clouds, when the raining clouds give the rain, the food grains go, and in the grains, we need the grains, and the living entities are there, and then the cycle of reproduction and everything goes on. So this is the cycle of the sacrifice, right? That we should follow, that we should sacrifice. If we don't sacrifice, then it's a sinful life, right? So why are we in this material world? Because we have turned away from Krishna. Our eternal home is the spiritual world, not the heaven. Heaven is different from the spiritual world, right? So he's given this. Otherwise, if we do unrestricted sense enjoyment, we will be in this pool, the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, the pool of birth, death, disease, and old age will be continuously going. But this Krishna is saying, okay, you want to live separately, you want to enjoy, go there. But this sacrifice method is there so that we can keep advancing on the yoga ladder, right? As we become more and more pure, we can advance on the spiritual life, right? And then through Krishna then says that, okay, even if I don't have Nishkam Yoga, I have no desire, I have Nishkam Karma Yoga, I've been practicing that. Krishna says you still should work to set example for others, right? He says, okay, yes, if you are from the Nishkam Karma Yoga, you're on the Jnani, on the Jnana platform, you realize, you understand who you are, like you're the Atma, not just the theoretically, but practically you understand you're the soul, right? Then you don't have any obligation to perform any prescribed action because you don't have any material desires, right? You don't have any taste for material pleasures. So you don't need to perform actions, but you still should perform actions because we will see that he gives the example that therefore without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. So here he will give the example like King Janaka. He was a Raja Rishi. He was a self-realized man. He was the father of Sita, very highly learned and self-realized person. He had no duties, but he was a great king. He was a learned sadhu at the same time, and he's an example. And when you're a leader, the common man will follow you, right? Right. This is a very famous verse. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tad tad evetaro janaha sa yat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So, yes, Lord Janaka, that's the King Janaka, that's why he did his work, prescribed duties, didn't give up and go to the forest. Similarly, we all are leaders in our own right? Say, like in our families, as a father, whatever I do, my children are watching. At work, whatever I do, if I'm a manager, my subordinates are watching. So we have to lead by example of what are we teaching through our actions, right? Then Krishna says that Krishna is the proprietor of all the three worlds, the higher planetary system, the lower planetary, and the middle planetary, even the whole like the cosmic manifestation, both the spiritual and the material world. He's the supreme Lord, but he also does his prescribed duties. He came as a Kshatriya as Krishna. He took the role of a Kshatriya, and he's helping Arjun in the war. He did his prescribed duties. He made sure that he gave pleasure to Mother Yashoda. He gave pleasure to Mother Devaki, Nand Baba, Vasudev. He did his duties of being a brother, got his sister Subhadra married to Arjun. So he was doing all his duties, right? So he's saying if he doesn't do his duties, even though he's the Supreme Lord, people will follow him because they know he's God. And then that there will be Varna Shankara, which will mean people will not have legitimate children. There'll be Varna Shankara and the population will be ruined. So one thing here is that we don't follow, but we don't imitate. We don't imitate Krishna, but we follow his instructions. We don't follow his actions. Can we lift Govardhan Hill? Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. And many people say that, oh, when we become pure, we become God. No, can we lift Govardhan? Can anybody show the universal form of the Lord which Krishna showed? We cannot become God. So we follow his instructions, which are there in Bhagavad Gita, Uddhav Gita. We don't imitate him. We don't follow his actions. Okay. Oh, Krishna had 16,108 wives. I will also have 16,108 wives. So people make all those kind of statements, not understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Follow his teachings. We cannot imitate him. Like people will say, they will say, oh, Shiva drinks ganja and this and that. That's all wrong. But then if Shiva does that, can you also drink poison? He drank halahal for saving the whole of whole universe. So they will just pick and choose what they think is beneficial for them. So far making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is any questions so far? We're still revising. I want to finish the chapter. Ishan, you have a question?
No.
And then Krishna says, do not disturb the ignorant. They might be attached to the work. They might be attached to the fruits. Don't disturb them, but induce them to the right work through your example, through the example of spirit of devotion. They will see you and then they will follow, right? They will. And then there's a famous verse that Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimuratma kartaham iti manyate, which means The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that in actuality carried out by three modes of material nature. So it says that we think, right, I did this. I studied hard, so I got an A grade. I worked to build this house. I worked hard to get this car. Yes, there is that I, but it's not the ultimate, right? There is multiple things going on. Krishna would say that it's the material modes of nature, right? Our senses, our body is along with our will, which is the soul, and ultimately it's Krishna's sanction, because we might try to do something, and if Krishna doesn't sanction, we will not get the results. Sometimes it happens, right? We studied so hard for an exam, but we don't get the results because probably we got sick or the question paper had difficult questions. So Krishna didn't sanction that we will get the results because we didn't deserve it. So it's not like that we are the doer of activities in its completeness. There are other factors also, right? And when we are on the bodily platform, that's where we think, sometimes people say, oh, I can do anything and everything. I just work hard. No, that's not possible, right? We have a boundary set based on our karma. And then, yes, we have to do our karma. And then to the best of our abilities. And then the results are in Krishna's hands. So then from Nishkam Karma Yoga, it comes Bhakti, right? With this verse, it says, Mai Sarvani Karmani Sannyasa Sannyasya-dhyatma Chetasa Nirashir Mamo Bhutva Yudhyasva Vigata Jwaraha. Krishna says, therefore, O Arjun, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, with desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. He's saying, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, with full knowledge of Krishna, and surrendering our work to Krishna. This is where Krishna is saying in this chapter. Again, it's part of Karma Yoga, but he's introducing Bhakti, saying, surrendering all our work to him. Then he's asking him to fight, right? And then he says, people who follow his teachings become free from the bondage of fruitive activities, but those who don't follow, they are fools, and they will be ruined in their endeavor for perfection. So I took 35 minutes to revise, but I thought some new people have come, some other people were not there last time, so revise that, and then Krishna says, do your duty, don't imitate others. And then the last section was last. So Arjun is asking, even people have the knowledge that they should not do certain things, but why they are impelled to do things, right? So Arjun said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? We know social media is bad for us. Like, okay, it can be used in a good sense, but too much is bad, right? So Twitter or WhatsApp or Facebook or this or that or Xbox or so it should be in regulation, right? So he's saying, we know that this is wrong. Too much of it is wrong. We should utilize it in the right way. Even having that knowledge, why are we doing this as if like somebody's pushing us to do it, right? And this is the answer, right? It is lust, right? So Krishna said, it is lust only, Arjun, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world, right? Again, lust is just not the attraction between man and woman. It's anything which is not prescribed, which is not in the mode of goodness, which is not prescribed for us, like something which we are longing for, which is not good for us, is lust, right? It's for our sense enjoyment, that is lust. So it is born in the mode of passion because we want to enjoy a nicer car, nicer house without putting Krishna in the center. Uh, and then if it is successful without putting Krishna in the center, we have that lust, we got that, we become more greedy. And if we don't get that, we become angry, right? We have that mode of passion. I want it, I want it, want it. And when I don't get it, then I become angry, right? And that the whole chain of things explained in the chapter 2, 62, verse 62 and 63, that when we contemplate on the objects, sense object, we contemplate on an object with the senses, we develop attraction, then lust, then anger, then delusion, then memory, bewilderment, and then we fall into the material pool. So Krishna is saying that is the lust which impels us to do these bad things, right? This is the enemy of the soul. So we have to try to be in the mode of goodness, right? Because it's the mode of passion. That I want to enjoy, that I is that false ego at the bodily platform is coming in, right? And this is the lust which is uh, pulling us down. And then Krishna says there are 3 degrees of lust. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this lust, right? So a fire might be covered by smoke, right? The smoke is less there. So it's compared to like the example is the human being. With human beings, we have the highest consciousness. We can question, who am I? Who is God? Right? So with that spiritual endeavor, with that questioning, with that intelligence, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, that smoke can be removed, that lust can be removed. A mirror is covered by dust. The mirror is there, but it's so much dirty. It's like compared to the animals. They don't have God consciousness. Their consciousness is covered. Or the embryo covered by the womb. The embryo is inside the womb. It cannot see nothing, right? The trees have very little consciousness, right? They cannot understand God consciousness at all, right? So the different living entities here, meaning the different types of jivas, including animals, trees, and human beings, right? So this is the lust which is covering our spiritual intelligence, and it's impelling us to do the wrong things, right? And this lust is never satisfied, and it burns like fire, right? And then Arjuna is thinking, okay, this lust is there, but where does it sit? Where can I find it? So I know these are the places where the lust is there, so I can try to subdue, I can try to control them. And Krishna says that this lust is in the senses, the mind, and the intelligence, right? It covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. So what are the 3 places? And anybody, the kids, is Aniket there? Today, Aniket, Pankaj Prabhu, did Aniket join?
No, he is not. He
Okay.
hasn't joined.
So, Ishan or Anya? Anya is your name, right? What are the 3 places where the lust is there? Anya, are you able to answer?
Oh, the senses, the mind, and the intelligence.
Yes. So what do you think? What is easier to control? What should we control first to control lust?
The mind, maybe, because the mind controls the senses.
Is it easier to control the mind?
No.
So what should we control first?
Senses?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Very nice. Ishan, you have a question?
No, I was gonna say that.
And any practical examples how to control the senses? Anybody?
You have control, like you have control on your senses. Even if you want to do something, you need there is something which you want to eat, but you don't want to eat, but you still can stop yourself.
Yes, you meaning, but from doing a bad thing, right? You sometimes, okay. So let's say I want to listen to music, right? But the music, which is say Hollywood or Bollywood, is the lyrics are bad, but I like music. So then I listen to music which is still pleasing to the ears, but which is say a kirtan or a bhajan, right? Then you're controlling your senses.
Right.
So say you like, so say Meera, my daughter likes dancing, but if she can dance for Krishna, puts Krishna in the center, there's a dance for Krishna, then that's controlling the senses. You're actually using the senses in the right way. If she likes singing, instead of singing a Hollywood or a Bollywood song, she does kirtan. She is controlling her senses. So the desire it's not renunciation. It's not falgu vairagya, which is false renunciation. It's a yukta vairagya, saying, I'm not killing my desire. I'm not gonna give up things, but I'm gonna utilize in the service of Krishna. Right? In the second chapter, we discuss Siddha Pragya, right? When tortoise sees dangers outside, it goes inside its shell. So how do we control our senses? If I'm a drunkard and my house is near to the bar and I want to give up drinking, I should move from there. So one thing is, try when the bad things are there, try to go away from there, but then also develop higher taste inside, right? We discussed in the pragya that if we have a higher taste, the lower taste automatically goes away, right? If a child has a knife and the mother knows that the child is at 2 years old, they don't know what that the knife can do damage to them, then the mother might give them a chocolate, saying, I give you the chocolate, give me the knife, and they will give the knife. So if we develop that higher taste, saying, okay, I like this pani puri, but I will offer it to Krishna first so that I will have no reaction. So I will enjoy, but enjoy in a sense that first Krishna enjoys and then I'm taking the remnants. So seeing everything, how we can remove the bondage, how can we remove this lust? Because by doing two things. First, try not to do things which are not favorable for us, and trying to attach ourselves to the higher taste, then the lust, this bad propensity will go away, because we are attaching to the transcendental thing, right? Krishna is transcendental. He's beyond the three modes. He's beyond sattva, tamas, and rajas. Is this making sense?
Yeah, I think it's one of the most eye-opening thing, like to develop the higher taste. Uh,
Slowly. Yeah.
yeah, 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 definitely it makes sense. Like uh, from outward, if you go inwards, and then you start enjoying the peace that comes out of it. I think that's then you start realizing that it's more valuable than the material things, the kind of enjoyment you get from material things.
Yes. So the other example I think of is like Ishan likes animation and games and all that stuff. But if he creates animation of say Krishna's pastime, that's much more spiritual than say creating a game or just playing Xbox or anything, right? When we engage, like if we see like Ashwin Prabhu made this Narasimha Avatar movie, like it is making huge waves. And if somebody has not seen the movie, I would highly recommend that movie. It's very nice. It's spreading our Sanatan Dharma, right? And people are getting to know Lord Narasimha. They're getting to know the devotional service of Prahlad Maharaj. So it's entertainment, at the same time it's devotional, right? It's a higher taste. All right. So So the lust is born of passion, right? It changes into wrath like krodha. It forces us to act sinfully. It burns like fire, and three places: senses, mind, right? This is mind is saying, and then intelligence. So we discuss senses is easier to control, right? And slowly, then if we read the scriptures, right, the intelligence will also come, and we control the senses, and the mind also, right? The sense gradually we control the senses, then the mind will give up, right? First, we have to regulate the senses. Krishna says that, and this is an example again. Like Krishna says that the senses are greater than the dull matter, right? The dull matter, say a table is here, a laptop is there, is dull matter. Senses are superior than the matter. Mind is superior than the senses. Intelligence is superior than the mind, and soul is the superior most of them, right? So if we take the example, if there is a chariot with a driver and a passenger and the 5 horses, these are the horses are your senses. The mind is the reins, right? The lagam we call, right? And the driver is your intelligence, and the passenger is the soul. So usually the passenger should say, okay, take me to, say, Miami. But it says the mind is saying, okay, probably in Deerfield Beach, there's a beach party going on, so let's go there. The horses are distracted, and they might take us there. So our destination was Miami. We might end up going to Deerfield Beach. Or we wanted to study, but a YouTube, TikTok video came up. Our senses said, okay, let's look at TikTok or YouTube video for 15 minutes, and then time passes. And so senses usually should go from the passenger to the senses, but what usually happens, it goes in the reverse direction then. That the senses are then telling the mind and the intelligence, and that the soul is then the suffering person. Is it making sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And another example is of Ajamil. I don't know if you've heard about Ajamil. This is a story given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Like he was a Brahmana. He used to do a lot of austerities. He used to do the mantras and everything. But one time while he was going to the forest, he saw a prostitute enjoying with a man. He was like thinking, I should not see this. And he started chanting his mantra, but he kept seeing it. So his senses were not in control. He did not control his senses. He kept chanting the mantras. He kept, but at the same time, he kept seeing it. And due to this lust, when he went back home, he was so occupied that he gave up his wife and he married the prostitute. He fell down, right? And he had 10 children. And by the grace of the Lord, that the 10th child he named he called him Narayan. He named him as Narayan. So he had fallen down from a Brahmana. He had married a prostitute. He was looting people. He was stealing money and everything to survive and everything. And given up his parents. He left his wife and all that stuff. He'd become a bad person. But he was attached to his last son, Narayan, very much. So when his time of death came, he was so attached to his son, he called it Narayan. And at the time, the Yamadutas came, right, to take him to Narka, to hell. But the Vishnu Dutas from the spiritual world also came, that you cannot take him because he called out the names of Narayan. The Yamaduta said, no, he's calling his sons. But he says, no, he still called out Narayan, so you cannot take him. So he got a second chance. He did not die. He remembered all this. And then he understood that what he did was wrong. He went to Haridwar, and then he engaged in bhakti. And at the end of his life, he went back to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. So how even naming our children the right name can change if we have attachment, right? That the word Narayan then changed his life, right? So what I'm trying to say is, because he continued watching, his senses, instead of, so the two aspects I was talking about from the tortoise example, that we have to extricate we have to remove our senses from those bad things and have to develop a higher taste. So he had a higher taste that time, but he was not able to remove his senses. He kept on watching, so that led to his downfall. But Krishna's mercy, Narayan's mercy, that he got back to the spiritual world. Then Krishna finally says that you can steady this mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, that you can conquer this lust by spiritual intelligence. And that intelligence he will describe in chapter number 4, which is called transcendental knowledge. So that's the end of the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So let's open up for question answers, discussions. How can I make this better for you guys, so that it is useful? Let me stop sharing. Okay. Any takeaways, any questions, feedback? Like, what did we learn here?
So, Prabhuji, I had a question. If
Yes.
you could kindly put up the first slide of that yoga ladder.
Yeah, okay. Me too. Oh, I did not cover some slides. It's the okay. The first
Yeah,
slide,
this one. No.
progressive.
No, the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. Correct. So I have a couple questions on this one. So if we look at the progressive yoga ladder and the extended yoga ladder, let's look at the Nishkam Karma Yoga. In the extended ladder, it comes before Jnana and Ashtanga. But in the other ladder, it comes after, like you bypass Jnana Ashtanga and then you're merging it with Sadhana Bhakti. What's the difference between the two types of Nishkam Karma Yoga? Are they the same or are they different types of Nishkam Karma Yoga?
No, they're the same, but here bhakti is introduced in the thing that they got the association of devotees. They've been doing this nishkama yajna, but they got the association, started bhakti, so they are not on the path of jnana or ashtanga. They're not interested in saying mystic siddhis or knowledge, but they start bhakti, right? When bhakti will give knowledge and detachment. So they start here, the devotees here start the sadhana bhakti, which takes them to then it goes from here to here, right? Progressive ladder then moves from sadhana to bhava and prema. Right? Nishkam karma yoga is there, they've been doing, but then it mixed with the sadhana bhakti also. They understand that I have to offer the fruits to Krishna, the results to Krishna, so that bhakti is there. So that leads them to this bhava and prema. They are on the path of bhakti. It bypasses jnana and ashtanga because they are interested in pleasing the Lord, not having like, okay, I need this knowledge or that knowledge. But with bhakti, the knowledge will automatically come because bhakti is independent, and knowledge and ashtanga yoga, they are still, you need you're doing your effort, but it takes a long time, and still to get to the highest ladder, you need the bhakti. Does that answer? Yeah.
And the Nishkam Karma Yoga in the extended yoga ladder, that is, you have given up, you're detached from the fruits of your work.
Yes.
But are you offering it to a higher power at that time or not yet?
Some philosopher says that yes, you are. Some years they're still saying that no, you're not. Right? Then some people classify that as karma yoga, that you are you're detached from your fruits, and then you're detached from your work also, and you're offering the results to Krishna. That becomes karma yoga. So that you will see sometimes in the yoga ladder. It's after, I think it's somewhere between Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga that becomes the Karma Yoga. So some philosophers or some acharyas describe that as a Karma Yoga, that Nishkam Karma Yoga is still not off. So it's a very thin line that you're offering the results to Krishna, then it becomes bhakti, right? It is not Shuddha Bhakti, because your intention is not to please Krishna completely, but you're offering the results to Krishna. It's karma mrish, like it's you're not doing everything which pleases Krishna, but you're not attached to the fruits. You're still attached to your work. Say if I'm a software engineer, I'm still attached to being a software engineer. But whatever I get, I offer that to Krishna. So what I will try to do is I will try to get that complete definition. What I have seen is Nishkam Karma is not, and Kasturi Manjari Mataji, you are there. Are you there, Mataji?
Haribol, yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I'm here.
So when Nishkam Karma Yoga is always like we giving the fruits to Krishna, or we just not attached to the fruits?
Nishkam karma, yes, we are giving all the fruits, but still, like I do the work that I like to do.
I'd like to do. So we are offering the fruits.
Yeah, we are offering, yes.
And Karma Yoga, we are not attached to the work as well as the fruits.
1 second. Nishkam karma and Nishkam. Meaning, okay, so Nishkam karma, yeah, there is like not fully giving the fruits. So basically, in Nishkam karma, I don't want anything for myself.
Yeah.
And in the karma yoga, we are giving the fruits to the Lord. Yes. Nishkam karma doesn't have that notation that we are giving the results to the Lord.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I read in the acharyas. So does that answer your question, Asmita Mataji? In Karma Yoga, we'll give the fruits.
So Nishkam Karma, we are just giving up the
Attachment.
attachment to the results of work.
Yes.
But we are not offering that to the Lord at this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ishan, you have a question?
I'm lagging. Sorry. I forgot to lower my hand from earlier.
Okay. Anybody else?
Oh wait. You wanted earlier you said you wanted to give a take. You wanted us to say a takeaway. My takeaway is, control the senses, so that like you won't be influenced by lust and stuff.
Yes, very nice takeaway. Thank you, Ishan.
You're welcome.
And I want to say something about this sense control, mind control, and the control of intelligence. I think you mentioned, but a little bit more. So, like the best way to control the senses is like you gave few examples of with the children and how I may like to eat something or go watch movie or dance or something, but if I do it something which is related to the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So and then I don't know who was speaking. They were speaking about the that what is that higher taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Bhagavad Gita second chapter also Krishna says that, right? Like Vishya vinivartante niraharsha dehinam, right? Raso varjam raso piyasya param drishtva nivartate. Yes, that higher taste. So, and that higher taste will come only when we pick up that kind of association. Like meaning, for example, if we want to run on this path of bhakti, then we start associating with those people who are following that path instead of like you gave the example, like if we are living close to the bar,
Yes.
we need to move away. So yeah, so that actually. And also another thing that you give the example of Ajamil, right? And even though he did all the abominable kind of things, he threw away his parents, his children, wife, and everything, and he married the prostitute, and at the old age of 80 he had a child, Narayan. So how much sinful activity that was, but still Yamaduta came, and even Vishnuduta came, because he had done some devotional activity in before he got attracted to the prostitute. So in this pastime, it also proves, even if we do a little devotional service, little service for the Lord, that is not going to go in vain. And that also Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, Neha vikarmo nashosti कर्तव्य विद्यते स्वल्पमपि यस्य धर्मस्य तरायते महतो भयात. Even if we do a little bit, then we will be saved by the Lord from going to the lower species of life. So that is the kind of kindness of the Lord, that even if we do tiny bit, still we will always get the result of that, actually. But in material world, we don't, no matter how hard we work, but generally we don't get the same outcome from that. Yeah, just wanted to share that.
No,
Yeah.
thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you so much. One thing I just want to, I know we are over time. I'll just take one more minute. Share my screen again. Here's to screen. Can you guys see?
Give me a minute. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to the bathroom.
Can you guys see?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can see.
So you see the Bhadra campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have been like this Ajamil story is from Srimad Bhagavatam. I know we are doing Bhagavad Gita. So we all want to go to the spiritual world. And Srimad Bhagavatam is, it starts where Bhagavad Gita stops, right? In the last chapter, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Pratija, like surrender to me, only me, and I will do not fear, all your sins will be destroyed. So how we surrender to the Lord, that story is in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And in Srimad, it's the topmost literature in India, like they do the 7-day katha, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? All the glories of Krishna is there, all the avatars of Krishna, Vishnu, like the Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Narsimha, the whole pastimes of Krishna is there. It's there in this book, Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It's a set of 18 books. It might seem overwhelming, but it's so auspicious, right? And it's Krishna himself. I know we are already over time, but because Bhadra Purnima is coming up next Sunday, so it says in Srimad Bhagavatam, right, if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. This is the promise of Srimad Bhagavatam. That if you don't have Srimad Bhagavatam and you purchase it and worship it on the Bhadra Purnima day, your ticket to the Vaikuntha planet, to the spiritual world, Goloka or Vaikuntha, is being promised here, right? So we do, like, if you're in India, we can order it from ISKCON Bombay and ship it to you. If you're here, we already have copies, and some people like Pankaj Prabhu's name, Mataji, have already taken. They're fortunate. So again, a humble request. Many of the stories which I use are from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Ajamil story, all the Krishna pastimes. If you do not have, highly, highly recommend and humble request. So let the mercy flow, because this is pure transcendental knowledge. Okay. With that, I would stop.
And the Narsimha movie also is based on one of the books that is there in the seventh canto, Prahlad Maharaj and Narsimha Dev. Extendedly, actually, certain things are not there in the movies, which are there in the book.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you can contact me if you want a set, and then we'll go from there. But it's already 7 minutes past. If I know, Kumar, your questions keep getting pushed. Probably next week, probably we'll make it a point to answer those questions. Kumar, I'm sorry.
Maybe next week you start with answering the questions.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's important.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhagavati.
Okay. All right, so we say our prayers. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you devotees. Thank you friends for joining. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you for
Krishna.
the opportunity.
That was boring.